Listen carefully, because this moment you're in right now is not ordinary. It's not random. It's not just another video, another scroll, another passing second in your day. No, something about this moment feels different, doesn't it? Something made you stop. Something made you click. Something pulled your attention in a way you can't fully explain. And that feeling you have right now, that's like pause in your spirit, that quiet sense that this might be important, that's not coincidence. That is alignment. Because while you were going about your day, thinking about your responsibilities, your worries, your plans, something unseen was shifting in the spiritual realm. A decision was made. A release was authorized. And your name was spoken in a place you cannot see, but your spirit can feel. This is the part no one tells you. Sometimes, the biggest moments in your life don't arrive with noise. They don't come with announcements. They don't knock loudly at your door. Sometimes they arrive quietly, silently, almost invisibly. And if you're not paying attention, you miss them. But you didn't miss this. Out of millions of people, out of endless content, out of all the distractions that could have pulled you away, you are here, right now, reading this, listening to this, feeling this. And that means something. Because there are moments when heaven interrupts your routine, not to confuse you, but to position you. Not to distract you, but to redirect you. And this is one of those moments. Archangel Michael has stepped forward with urgency. Not casually, not symbolically, but intentionally. Because something has already been set into motion concerning you. Something so significant, so unexpected, that even he, the great warrior of heaven, reacted. Let that sink in. This isn't about something that might happen someday. This is about something that has already been written, already been authorized, already been released. And yet you almost missed it. Think about that. How many times have you felt like something was about to happen but didn't? How many times have you sensed a breakthrough only for it to slip away? How many times have you wondered, why does it feel like something is mine but I can't touch it yet? That feeling, that frustration, that quiet knowing deep inside you. It wasn't your imagination. It was awareness without confirmation. Until now. Because this message, this exact moment, is your confirmation. You were not guided here by accident. You were called here. Called into this precise second because something has reached a point where silence is no longer allowed. Where delay is no longer permitted. Where heaven itself is saying, stop. Pay attention. This concerns you. And here's what makes this even more intense. You were not the first to know. Something was written about you without your awareness. Something was prepared for you without your involvement. Something was released in your name while you were still living your everyday life, unaware that your reality was about to shift. That's why this feels urgent. That's why you feel this pull to keep listening. Because deep down, your spirit recognizes truth before your mind can process it. And right now, your spirit is saying, don't skip this. Don't ignore this. There's something here for you. So pause for a moment. Take a breath. Because what you're about to hear next is not just information. It's revelation. It's the uncovering of something that has your name on it, something that has already been set aside, something that was never meant to pass you by. And Archangel Michael is not just observing it, he's reacting to it. He's stepping in because what has been discovered is too significant to remain hidden any longer. You're standing at the edge of something right now. You can feel it. The question is, will you stay aware long enough to receive it? Because the next part will reveal what was written and why it has your name on it. Don't look away now. Type "I am ready" in the comments if you feel this moment is not random. Blessing code 1010 is now activated around you. There is something you must understand right now, and it may challenge everything you thought you knew about timing, about blessings, about how things arrive in your life. What you are waiting for, what you have been praying for, what you have been hoping would one day show up has already been written. It has already been assigned. It already exists. Not in imagination, not in possibility, but in certainty. And the reason you feel that tension inside you, that strange pull between expectation and delay, is because your spirit has been sensing something that your physical world has not yet revealed. Imagine, for a moment, that somewhere beyond what your eyes can see, a check has already been filled out with your name written clearly across it. Not halfway, not uncertainly, but fully and intentionally. Every detail has been completed. The amount has been decided. The authorization has been given. The signature has been sealed. There is no question about whether it belongs to you. The only question hath been why it has not reached your hands yet. This is where most people misunderstand their journey. They believe that blessings are created in the moment they appear. They think that when something finally arrives, that is when it was decided. But what if the decision was made long before? What if what you are about to receive was actually written in a moment you have already lived past? What if you have been walking through life unaware that something with your name on it has been waiting, positioned, and preserved for the exact moment you are now entering? This is why you have felt restless. This is why certain things no longer satisfy you. This is why you have outgrown spaces, conversations, and even versions of yourself that once felt comfortable. Because something greater has already been assigned to you, and your spirit hath been trying to align with it even before your mind understood what was happening. You were not just changing randomly. You were being adjusted. You were being repositioned. You were being prepared to match what had already been written in your name. And here is where it becomes even more intense. This blessing was not small. It was not ordinary. It was not something that blends into the background of your life. It was significant enough to shift your direction, to alter your reality, to move you into a completely different level of living. That is why it could not be handed to you prematurely. That is why delays had to happen. Not because it was denied, but because it was protected. There were moments when you thought you lost something. Moments when you believed an opportunity slipped through your fingers. Moments when you questioned why things did not work out the way you expected. But what you did not see was that every delay, every redirection, every closed door was quietly guiding you toward alignment with what had already been written. Nothing was random. Nothing was wasted. Every step was adjusting you so that when this arrives, you are not overwhelmed by it, but ready to receive it. Archangel Michael's reaction begins to make sense when you realize this. Because what was discovered was not something newly created, but something already completed. A blessing that had been sitting in place, waiting for the exact moment when you would finally be in position to receive it without losing it, without mishandling it, without allowing it to slip away due to lack of readiness. You have to understand this clearly. This is not about luck. This is not about coincidence. This is not about chance suddenly favoring you. This is about something that has had your name on it from the beginning, something that could not be reassigned, something that could not be canceled, something that could only be delayed until the right alignment was achieved. And now, something has shifted. The reason you are hearing this now, the reason this message has reached you at this exact moment, is because the distance between what was written and what is about to be revealed has become smaller than ever before. The gap is closing. The delay is ending. The unseen is preparing to become seen. This is why your awareness is being activated. because you cannot step into something this significant while remaining unconscious of it. You cannot receive something this powerful while thinking it is just another ordinary moment. You are being awakened to the reality that what is coming is not new. It is something that has been yours all along. And this changes everything. Because now, you are no longer waiting for something to be created. You are aligning with something that already exists. You are not hoping for a possibility. You are stepping toward a certainty. You are not chasing something distant. You are moving into something that has been waiting for you to arrive at the right place, in the right state, at the right time, and that time is closer than you think. Type "I receive what is already mine" in the comments if you feel this truth rising inside you. Blessing code 2020 is now activated around your path. There is a moment in the unseen realm that most people will never witness, a moment when something shifts so dramatically that even the strongest guardians of truth respond with urgency. This is not a quiet observation. This is not a passive acknowledgement. This is a reaction. And what you are about to understand is that when Archangel Michael reacts, it is never without reason. It is never without purpose. It is never without immediate consequence. What was discovered concerning you did not unfold slowly. It did not gradually reveal itself over time. It appeared with clarity, with force, with undeniable presence. A record was examined. A decision was revisited. And in that instant, something became unmistakably clear. There was something written in your name that had reached a point where it could no longer remain hidden, no longer remain delayed, no longer remain outside of your awareness. Archangel Michael did not stand still when this realization surfaced. He moved, not in confusion, not in uncertainty, but with direct intention. Because what he saw was not small. It was not something that could be ignored or postponed. It was something that required immediate attention, immediate awareness, and immediate alignment on your part. You must understand the weight of this reaction. Michael is not surprised by ordinary things. He is not shaken by routine spiritual movements. He stands in realms where power, authority, and divine decisions are constant. So for him to react, for him to step forward with urgency, for him to command attention, it means that what has been uncovered carries a magnitude that goes beyond what you have been expecting. This is why the message feels intense. This is why it feels like something is pressing you to listen, to stay, to not move away from this moment. Because what has been revealed is not just about a blessing. It is about timing. It is about alignment. It is about the fact that something has reached a point where delay is no longer acceptable. There was a moment where what belongs to you was simply waiting. Waiting for alignment, waiting for preparation, waiting for the right conditions to form. But now, that moment has shifted into something else entirely. Now it is no longer just waiting. It is ready. And that readiness is what triggered the reaction you are now hearing about. Michael's voice carries authority, but it also carries urgency in this moment. He is not suggesting that you pay attention. He is commanding it. Because what happens next depends on whether you remain aware or whether you allow this moment to pass like every other distraction that has tried to pull you away in the past. There is something else you need to realize. When a blessing of this level reaches readiness, it does not go unnoticed. It does not sit quietly without resistance. There are forces, patterns, and even people who become aware when something significant is about to shift in your life. Not everyone understands it. Not everyone sees it clearly. But there is movement. There is awareness. There is reaction beyond what you can physically observe. This is another reason for the urgency. Because what has been discovered is not just about giving you something. It is about ensuring that what belongs to you reaches you without interference, without distortion, without being redirected or mishandled. And that requires your awareness. That requires your stillness. That requires your attention. Michael is not stepping in because something went wrong. He is stepping in because something went right at a level you did not expect. Something aligned. Something completed. Something reached a point where it is now ready to move from the unseen into the seen. And the transition is the most critical part of the process. This is where many people lose what was meant for them. Not because it was taken, but because they were not aware when it arrived. They were distracted. They were doubtful. They were misaligned. And what was ready to be received passed them by because they did not recognize it in the moment it appeared. That will not be your story. That is why this message carries such intensity. That is why you feel pulled into it. That is why it feels like something is insisting that you stay focused right now. Because you are being positioned to recognize what is about to unfold before it fully manifests in your reality. Archangel Michael's reaction is not just a response. It is a signal. A signal that something has crossed from preparation into activation. A signal that what hath been written in your name is no longer distant, no longer delayed, no longer waiting in silence. It is moving. And now, the responsibility shifts to you. Will you remain aware enough to receive it? Will you stay aligned enough to recognize it? Will you trust what is unfolding, even if it does not look exactly the way you expected at first? Because what is coming will not feel ordinary. It will not arrive like something small or insignificant. It will carry weight. It will carry change. It will carry a shift that requires you to step into it with clarity, not confusion. This is why Michael has spoken. This is why the urgency is real. This is why you were told to stop everything and pay attention. Because this is not just another moment. This is the moment where everything begins to move. Type "I am alert" and ready in the comments if you feel the urgency of this message. Blessing code 3030 is now activated around your awareness. As this revelation settles into your spirit, understand this truth. Every time a message like this reaches a soul, a light is ignited in a place that once felt dark. This is not just content. This is a calling, a flow of living water reaching those who are searching without knowing where to look. When you choose to sow into this mission through the PayPal link in the description or the QR code on your screen, you are not giving to a channel. You are planting seeds into hearts that are ready for transformation. The word declares, "Give, and it shall be given unto you." And this is not a distant promise. It is a living exchange happening in this very moment. I feel led to say this clearly. I am stepping forward to become a vessel of impact, and through that decision, doors will open that no man can shut. Your seed becomes oil. Your offering becomes fire. Your action becomes a ripple that reaches lives you may never meet. Do not delay what your spirit is prompting you to do right now. Act in obedience and watch how heaven responds. There is a question that has been echoing quietly in your mind for a long time, even if you never said it out loud. If something has already been written with your name on it, if something has already been assigned, if something has already been prepared, then why hasn't it shown up yet? Why has it felt like you were standing on the edge of something, sensing it, almost touching it, but never fully receiving it? This is the part that confuses most people, the part that makes them doubt, the part that makes them wonder if what they felt was ever real in the first place. But what you are about to understand will shift the way you see every delay you have ever experienced. The delay was never a denial. The delay was never a mistake. The delay was never a sign that something was taken away from you. The delay was protection. The delay was positioning. The delay was alignment happening in ways you could not see, in ways you could not control, in ways that required time to complete before anything could safely reach you. You have to realize that something of this magnitude cannot enter your life in a random moment. It cannot arrive while everything around you is still misaligned. It cannot be placed into your hands while your environment, your mindset, your direction, or even the people around you are not ready for it. Because if it had arrived too early, it would not have been a blessing. It would have become a burden. It would have been mishandled. It would have slipped through your fingers in ways you would not have understood at the time. This is why you experienced certain losses. This is why some things did not work out. This is why certain doors closed when you were convinced they were the ones meant for you. You thought those moments were setbacks. You thought those moments were disappointments. But in reality, they were adjustments. They were removals. They were necessary separations designed to keep you from receiving something too soon and losing it just as quickly. There were people who could not go where you are going. There were environments that could not sustain what you are about to receive. There were versions of yourself that were not ready to handle what had already been written in your name. And so, the delay became the process through which everything was gradually corrected. Think about the moments when you felt stuck, the times when nothing seemed to move forward, the periods where you questioned whether anything was happening at all. Those were not empty seasons. Those were the most active moments of preparation, the moments where unseen adjustments were being made with precision. Things were being moved out of your path. Things were being rearranged behind the scenes. Pieces were being placed into position so that when the moment of release arrived, everything would align without chaos. This is what makes the delay so difficult to understand. Because from your perspective, it looked like nothing was happening. But from the higher perspective, everything was happening at once. Every step you took, every decision you made, every shift you experienced was contributing to the alignment required for what is now ready to enter your life. There is also something deeper you need to acknowledge. Delays test awareness. Delays reveal focus. Delays expose whether you will remain steady or whether you will lose sight of what you sensed in the beginning. Many people walk away during the delay. Many people assume nothing is coming and settle for less. Many people abandon what was meant for them because the waiting felt too long, the silence felt too heavy, and the uncertainty felt too uncomfortable. But you did not fully walk away. Even in your doubt, you stayed connected. Even in your confusion, you kept moving. Even when you questioned everything, there was still something inside you that refused to completely let go. That part of you, that quiet persistence, that refusal to fully give up, is the reason you are still aligned with what was written in your name. The delay did not disconnect you. It refined you. Now, here is what changes everything. The same delay that once held things back is now coming to an end. The same process that once felt slow is now reaching completion. The same alignment that took time to form is now ready to deliver what it was preparing all along. This is why the urgency has increased. Because what was once in preparation is now in transition. It is moving from being held back into being released. And that movement happens quickly. It does not stretch out the way the delay did. It does not slowly reveal itself over time. When alignment is complete, things begin to move with speed, with clarity, with undeniable presence. You are stepping out of delay and into movement. And this is the moment where awareness matters most. Because when something finally arrives after a long delay, it can feel unfamiliar. It can feel unexpected. It can feel almost too sudden to recognize. But if you remain aware, if you stay aligned, if you trust what is unfolding, you will see it clearly. Nothing was late. Nothing was lost. Nothing was taken away. It was all being prepared for now. Type "I trust the timing" in the comments if you feel the delay is ending for you. Lesson code 4040 is now activated around your timeline. There comes a moment in every unfolding journey when everything that once felt delayed, distant, and uncertain suddenly begins to shift with undeniable clarity. It does not announce itself loudly at first. It does not arrive with noise or warning. It begins quietly, almost subtly, but carries a force that cannot be stopped once it has begun. That moment is not something you create. It is something you step into. And right now, you are standing at the threshold of that exact turning point. You have spent time in preparation, even when you did not realize it. You have moved through delays that felt endless, through confusion that seemed unnecessary, through moments where nothing made sense. But what you could not see was that every one of those moments was leading to this precise intersection in your life. A point where everything that was once held back begins to move forward at once. This is the moment where alignment meets release. You may not see it fully yet, but you can feel it. There is a shift in your awareness. There is a heightened sensitivity in your thoughts. There is a quiet but persistent feeling that something is about to change. Not eventually, not someday, but now. That feeling is not random. It is recognition. Your spirit is recognizing the movement before your physical reality has caught up to it. This is what makes this moment so powerful and so critical at the same time. Because when a turning point arrives, it does not wait for you to feel completely ready. It does not pause for you to fully understand it. It simply begins. And your role is not to control it, but to align with it as it unfolds. There are signs that this moment has already begun. Things that once felt blocked are starting to open. Thoughts that once felt scattered are beginning to make sense. Opportunities that once seemed distant are starting to move closer. Even the way you perceive yourself is changing. You are no longer looking at your life the same way you did before. There is a clarity forming, a sense that you are stepping into something different, something more defined, something more certain. This is not coincidence. This is activation. Archangel Michael's urgency now becomes even more important, because this is the stage where everything accelerates. What took time to prepare will now move with speed. What felt slow will now feel sudden. And if you are not grounded, if you are not aware, if you are not aligned, it can feel overwhelming instead of empowering. That is why you were told to stop everything. Because this moment requires your full attention. It requires your presence. It requires you to step out of distraction and into awareness. You cannot carry old confusion into a moment of clarity. You cannot bring doubt into a moment of activation. You cannot hesitate when everything is moving forward. You are being called to rise with the moment. This is where many people hesitate. They feel the shift, but they question it. They sense the change, but they doubt it. They stand at the turning point, but they hesitate to step forward because it feels unfamiliar. But what you must understand is that every breakthrough feels unfamiliar at first. Every new level feels uncertain in the beginning. That does not mean it is wrong. It means it is new. And you were prepared for this newness, even when you did not realize it. Every delay you experienced was building your capacity to handle this moment. Every challenge you faced was strengthening your ability to recognize what is real and what is distraction. Every step you took, even the ones that felt small, was positioning you for this exact turning point. Now you are here. This is the moment where what was written begins to show itself. This is the moment where what was delayed begins to move. This is the moment where what was hidden begins to reveal itself in ways you cannot ignore. And you will notice it. It may not come in the way you expected, It may not look exactly like what you imagined, but it will carry a certainty, a weight, a presence that makes it unmistakable. You will recognize it because it will feel aligned, not forced. It will feel clear, not confusing. It will feel right, even if it challenges you to step into something new. This is your turning point, and once it begins, there is no going back to what was before. The old delays will no longer define you. The old uncertainties will no longer hold you. The old waiting will no longer be your reality. You are stepping into movement, into clarity, into something that has been building toward this exact moment. So do not hesitate. Do not step back. Do not question what you already feel shifting inside you. This is the moment everything changes. Type "I step into my turning point" in the comments if you feel this shift happening now. Blessing code 5050 is now activated around your breakthrough. And now listen carefully, because this part carries weight. This is not just guidance. This is not just advice. This is a warning. And not a warning meant to create fear, but a warning meant to protect what is already moving toward you. Because when something significant is about to enter your life, the most critical moment is not when it is written, and not even when it is released, but when it is about to arrive. That is the moment where small missteps can create unnecessary delay, where distraction can interfere with clarity, and where a lack of awareness can cause you to overlook what is right in front of you. You are in that moment now. This is why Archangel Michael's voice carries such firmness here. Because there are certain things you must not do right now if you are to fully receive what has already been assigned to you. The shift has begun. The movement has started. But your response in this moment determines how smoothly that transition unfolds. The first thing you must guard against is distraction. Not obvious distraction. Not something loud or chaotic, but subtle distraction. The kind that feels normal. The kind that pulls your attention away just enough for you to lose focus on what is actually happening. It can come through overthinking, through unnecessary conversations, through habits that pull you back into old patterns. You must remain aware. You must remain present. Because what is coming requires your attention, not your divided focus. There is also a deeper layer to this warning. You must not return to what you have already outgrown. There are spaces, mindsets, and even connections that were part of your life during the delay, but they cannot move with you into this next phase. And the moment something begins to shift, there is often a pull backward, a subtle temptation to revisit what feels familiar, not because it is right, but because it is comfortable. You must resist that pull, because returning to what you have outgrown creates misalignment, and misalignment creates delay. You have come too far to step backward now. Another thing you must not do is doubt the shift when it begins to show itself. This is one of the most common ways people delay what is already theirs. They feel something change. They know is something different, but instead of trusting it, they question it. They analyze it. They hesitate. And in that hesitation, they create resistance. You cannot afford that in this moment. You must trust what you feel when it aligns. You must recognize what is clear instead of looking for reasons to doubt it. There is also a warning about how you speak and how you think during this time. Words carry weight, and thoughts direct focus. If you begin to speak from fear, from uncertainty, from disbelief, you create confusion around something that is meant to be clear. If you begin to think from a place of lack, you disconnect from the awareness that something has already been provided. You must remain steady in your mindset. You must remain aligned in your words. Because what is coming responds to clarity, not confusion. And then there is the most important part of this warning. You must not ignore this moment. It may seem simple, but it is the most critical instruction of all. Because the easiest way to delay what is meant for you is to treat this moment like every other moment. To assume it is just another message, just another passing thought, just another feeling that will fade. But this is not that. This is a point of awareness, a point of activation, a point where you are being positioned to recognize something before it fully arrives. If you ignore this, you risk missing the clarity that is being given to you now. Archangel Michael is not speaking casually. He is not repeating this out of routine. He is issuing a directive. Stay alert. Stay aligned. Stay aware. Because what is approaching will require you to respond with precision, not hesitation. This is not about doing more. This is about doing less of what disconnects you and more of what keeps you aligned. It is about removing what clouds your awareness and holding on to what sharpens it. It is about standing still when necessary, moving forward when clarity comes, and refusing to be pulled into anything that feels like confusion. You are closer than you realize. And this is the moment where everything must remain clear. So protect your focus. Protect your alignment. Protect your awareness. Because what is coming is already in motion. Type "I stay aligned and alert" in the comments if you receive this warning clearly. Blessing code 6060 is now activated around your protection. There is something deeper than a blessing that you must now understand. What is moving towards you is not random, not accidental, and not simply a moment of favor appearing out of nowhere. It is the result of something that has existed long before this moment, something that was established before you even recognized its presence. It is what can only be described as a spiritual contract, a divine agreement written over your life, carrying your name, your purpose, and your path within it. This contract was not created in response to your recent actions. It was not written because of something you did yesterday or even last year. It was established at a level beyond time, beyond circumstance, beyond the changing conditions of your life. And this is why, despite everything you have experienced, despite the delays, the confusion, the redirections, it has remained intact. It has not been erased. It has not been reassigned. It has not been forgotten. You have been living within the unfolding of this contract, even when you were unaware of it. There were moments when you thought you were making random decisions, times when you believed you were simply reacting to life as it happened. But behind those choices, behind those movements, something deeper was guiding you, not forcing you, not controlling you, but gently aligning you with what had already been written. You were being led, even when it felt like you were wandering. This is why certain paths never fully worked out for you. Not because you failed, not because you were unworthy, but because those paths were not part of the contract. They may have seemed right in the moment. They may have felt promising, but they were never aligned with what was ultimately written in your name. And so, no matter how much effort you put in, no matter how much you tried to make them work, they could not hold. They could not sustain. They could not carry you forward. The contract would not allow it. This is also why certain things kept returning to your awareness. Ideas, desires, visions, even feelings that you could not fully explain. You may have tried to ignore them. You may have pushed them aside. You may have told yourself they were unrealistic or unnecessary. But they kept coming back. They kept resurfacing. They kept finding their way into your thoughts because they were part of what had already been written. They were reminders, signals, echoes of the agreement that exists over your life. And now, here is where it becomes even more important. A contract does not activate fully until the conditions are met. It does not unfold all at once. It reveals itself in stages, in layers, in moments of alignment that gradually bring you closer to its full expression. And what you are experiencing now is the activation of a new level within that contract. Not the beginning, but a significant turning point within it. This is why everything feels different. This is why there is a sense of urgency, a sense of movement, a sense that something is no longer waiting but beginning to unfold. Because a part of that contract has reached its moment of activation. A part of what was written is now ready to move into reality. Archangel Michael's presence in this moment is not separate from this. He is not reacting to something outside of the contract. He is responding to its activation. He is ensuring that what hath been written is not interfered with, not delayed unnecessarily, not distorted as it begins to take form. You must understand that contracts of this level attract attention. Not just positive alignment, but also resistance. Not because they can be broken, but because they carry significance. They represent movement, change, elevation. And anything that shifts you into a higher level of alignment will always encounter moments of tension as it unfolds. But here is what you must hold on to. This contract is not fragile. It is not easily disrupted. It is not something that can simply disappear. It is established at a level that remains steady regardless of temporary circumstances. What you are experiencing now is not uncertainty about whether it will happen, but the process of how it is unfolding. And your role in this is not to force it, not to rush it, not to question it, but to align with it. Alignment means awareness. It means recognizing when something feels right, when something feels clear, when something feels connected to a deeper sense of purpose. It means moving with clarity instead of confusion. It means trusting the direction that continues to present itself, even if it requires you to step into something unfamiliar. Because what is written in this contract is not meant to keep you where you have been. It is meant to move you forward. It is meant to elevate you. It is meant to bring you into a level of clarity and reality that reflects what has always been intended for you. And now, that intention is no longer distant. It is activating. Type "I align with my divine contract" in the comments if you feel this truth within you. Blessing code 7070 is now activated over your path and purpose. There is a truth you must now face with clarity, not fear, with awareness, not confusion. Whenever something of great value begins to move toward you, it does not happen in isolation. It creates ripples. It creates attention. It creates reaction in places you may not expect. And the moment your breakthrough begins to activate, anything that has been misaligned around you also begins to reveal itself. This is not coincidence. This is exposure. You may have already started to notice subtle shifts in your environment. Conversations that feel different. Energy that feels slightly off. Situations that once felt normal now feel uncomfortable or unclear. People who once seemed aligned now feel distant, uncertain, or even resisted. These are not random changes. These are indicators that something within your reality is being brought into the light. Because when your life begins to elevate, everything that cannot rise with you begins to separate from you. This is where many people become confused. They assume something is going wrong when, in reality, something is being corrected. They interpret discomfort as loss, when it is actually alignment. They try to hold on to what is shifting away, not realizing that what is leaving was never meant to remain in the presence of what is now arriving. You must not make that mistake. What is being exposed right now is not meant to pull you backward. It is meant to clarify your path forward. It is meant to show you what belongs and what does not. It is meant to remove confusion so that when your breakthrough fully arrives, it enters a space that is clear, stable, and aligned. There are different forms this exposure can take. Sometimes it shows up as doubt from others, subtle questioning of your direction, your decisions, or your awareness. Not always openly, but in small ways that make you second-guess yourself. Other times, it appears as distraction, opportunities or situations that seem appealing on the surface, but pull you away from what you know is right. And in some cases, it reveals itself through silence, through absence, through a noticeable shift in connection that forces you to recognize that something is no longer aligned the way it once was. None of this is accidental. It is all part of the process of separation that occurs before elevation. Archangel Michael's presence in this moment is not only about protection, it is about discernment. It is about ensuring that you can see clearly what is being revealed so that you do not carry it with you into what is coming next. Because if something is exposed now and you ignore it, you risk bringing misalignment into a moment that requires clarity. You must trust what you are seeing. You must trust what you are feeling. You must trust the shifts that are becoming obvious to you, even if they are uncomfortable, even if they require you to step away from what feels familiar, even if they challenge the way you have been seeing things up until now. Because what is being revealed is not meant to harm you. It is meant to protect what is coming to you. There is also something deeper happening that you may not fully realize yet. Not everything that resists your breakthrough does so intentionally. Sometimes resistance comes from patterns, from habits, from environments that have simply remained unchanged while you have grown. But whether intentional or not, anything that does not align with where you are going cannot remain where you are headed. This is why clarity is so important right now. You are being given the ability to see what you could not fully see before, to recognize what you may have overlooked, to understand what may have once confused you. And this clarity is not coming later. It is coming now, before the full arrival of what has been written in your name. So do not ignore it. Do not dismiss it. Do not explain it away. Because what is being exposed is directly connected to what is being protected. And what is being protected is your breakthrough. You are not losing anything that truly belongs to you. You are not being separated from anything that is meant to move forward with you. What is being removed, what is being revealed, what is being exposed is simply making space for what has already been assigned to you to arrive without interference. This is alignment at a deeper level. This is clarity at a higher level. This is protection in motion. So remain steady. Remain aware. Remain willing to see what is being shown to you, even if it challenges your expectations. Because what is being revealed now is preparing you for what is about to be received. Type ISE clearly and choose alignment in the comments if you recognize this exposure happening in your life. Blessing code 8080 is now activated around your discernment and protection. As this exposure unfolds and truth begins to rise in your life, understand that every moment of clarity you receive is a seed planted into your spirit. And every seed has the power to multiply into someone else's breakthrough. When you step forward and sow into this mission through the PayPal link in the description, or the QR code on your screen, you are not just supporting a message, you are releasing living water into souls that are searching for light. The word speaks directly to you in this moment. As you give, it shall return to you, pressed down, shaken together, and overflowing. And this is not a distant promise. It is a present reality waiting for your action. I feel this clearly. I am choosing to be a vessel that carries this light further, and through that obedience, doors will open in ways I did not expect. Your giving becomes oil that fuels transformation. Your seed becomes a river that reaches beyond what you can see. Do not hesitate in this moment of clarity. Act now, and let your obedience become the spark that ignites countless lives. There is a moment when everything that has been preparing, aligning, and positioning reaches a point where it is ready to move, and that moment does not wait for permission. It does not pause for confirmation. It begins. And what determines whether you fully receive what is being released is not whether it exists, because it already does, but whether you are aligned with it as it arrives. This is the activation moment. It is not something distant. It is not something you need to chase. It is something you step into through awareness, through clarity, through the way you position yourself in this exact point in time. And the truth is, many people miss this moment not because they are unworthy, but because they remain disconnected from it while it is happening. You will not make that mistake. Alignment in this moment is not about doing something complicated. It is not about forcing outcomes or trying to control what is unfolding. It is about recognizing what is already in motion and placing yourself in a state where you can receive it without resistance. It is about becoming aware of what is real instead of being distracted by what is irrelevant. The first part of alignment is stillness. Not inactivity, but intentional stillness. The ability to pause, to observe, to recognize what is shifting around you without immediately reacting to it. Because when something significant begins to move, your first instinct may be to overthink it, to analyze it, to question it. But overthinking creates noise, and noise interferes with clarity. Stillness allows you to see clearly what is actually happening. You must allow yourself to notice without rushing to interpret. There will be signs. There will be movements. There will be moments that feel different from what you have experienced before. And instead of immediately trying to define them, you must allow them to reveal themselves. Because clarity does not come through force. It comes through awareness. The second part of alignment is trust. Not blind trust, but grounded trust in what you already feel is true. You have been sensing this shift. You have been aware that something was changing, even before you had confirmation. Now that confirmation is here, and you must trust it. Because hesitation in this moment creates resistance, and resistance slows down what is already moving toward you. You must trust what feels aligned, even if it is new. You must trust what feels clear, even if it challenges your past understanding. You must trust what feels certain, even if it requires you to step into something unfamiliar. This is not the time to doubt what you have already recognized. The third part of alignment is release. You cannot receive something new while holding tightly to what has already served its purpose. This includes old expectations, old fears, old definitions of how things are supposed to happen. Because what is arriving may not match the exact image you created in your mind. It may come in a form that is different, but still aligned. And if you are too attached to a specific expectation, you may fail to recognize what is actually yours. You must release the need to control the form. You must release the need to predict every detail. You must release anything that feels like it is pulling you backward instead of allowing you to move forward. Because what is meant for you will not require force. It will align naturally once you are in position to receive it. The final part of alignment is readiness. Not readiness based on perfection, but readiness based on awareness. The understanding that when something arrives, you do not question whether you deserve it. You do not hesitate to accept it. You do not shrink away from it. You step into it with clarity, with confidence, with the understanding that it has your name on it for a reason. This is where everything comes together. Stillness keeps you aware. Trust keeps you steady. Release keeps you open. Readiness allows you to receive. And all of this happens within you, not outside of you. You are not waiting for the right moment to come. You are becoming the right state to receive the moment that is already here. This is activation. And once you are aligned, once you are aware, once you are steady in this state, what is moving toward you will not feel distant anymore. It will feel present. It will feel real. It will feel undeniable. You will recognize it not because someone tells you, but because everything within you confirms it. This is your moment to align. This is your moment to receive. This is your moment to step fully into what has already been written in your name. Type "I am aligned" to receive in the comments if you feel this activation within you. Blessing code 9090 is now activated around your alignment and readiness. There is something you must now begin to understand at a deeper level, something that shifts the way you see what is coming toward you. What has been written in your name, what has been prepared, what is now moving into your reality is not meant to stop with you. It is not designed to remain contained within your personal experience. It is not something that exists only for your comfort or your individual gain. It is something that carries movement beyond you, something that expands outward, something that touches more than just your life. This is the nature of overflow. Overflow does not begin at the moment you receive something. It begins at the moment something is assigned to you that is greater than what you alone can hold. And that is exactly what you are stepping into now. What is coming is not small enough to remain limited to your own circumstances. It is designed to move through you, to extend beyond you, to create impact in ways you may not fully see at first. This is why the preparation was so specific. This is why the delays were necessary. Because something that affects more than just you requires a level of alignment that goes beyond personal readiness. It requires stability. It requires clarity. It requires a foundation strong enough to hold not just what you receive, but what flows through you afterward. You may have thought this was only about you. You may have believed this was simply about a moment of breakthrough in your own life. But now you are beginning to see that it is larger than that. There are people connected to your path, some you know, some you have not even met yet, who will be affected by what is coming into your life. There are opportunities that will open not just for you, but through you. There are shifts that will take place because of your position, your movement, your willingness to step into what has been written in your name. This is why you could not receive this earlier. Because if something this significant had entered your life before you were ready to understand its purpose, it would have been reduced to something smaller than what it truly is. It would have been treated as a personal gain instead of a channel for something greater. But now, your awareness is expanding. Now, your understanding is deepening. Now, you are beginning to see beyond just yourself, and that changes how you receive. When you understand that what is coming is not just for you, you no longer approach it with hesitation. You no longer question whether you deserve it. You no longer shrink back from it. Instead, you step into it with clarity, with purpose, with the recognition that you are part of something that extends beyond your individual experience. This is where many people limit what is given to them. They receive something significant, but they try to contain it. They hold on to it tightly, they reduce it to personal benefit, and in doing so, they stop the flow. Because what is meant to overflow cannot be contained without losing its true purpose. You must not make that mistake. What is coming to you is meant to move. It is meant to expand. It is meant to reach beyond what you can currently see. This does not mean you lose it. It does not mean you give it away without wisdom. It means you understand its nature. It means you allow it to function as it was designed, not just as something you possess, but as something you carry forward. This is why your mindset matters so much in this moment. Because if you receive this with a limited perspective, you will only experience a portion of what it is meant to do. But if you receive it with awareness, with openness, with the understanding that it is part of something larger, you will begin to see its full impact unfold. You will begin to see connections form. You will begin to see opportunities expand. You will begin to see how what enters your life creates movement beyond what you expected. This is overflow in action, and it does not happen by chance. It happens because something was written in your name that was always meant to reach further than you imagined. You are not just receiving a moment. You are stepping into a flow that carries purpose, a flow that carries impact, a flow that carries change. And once it begins, it does not stop with you. So do not limit what is coming. Do not reduce it to something smaller than it is. Do not hold on to it in a way that stops its movement. Allow it to flow. Allow it to expand. Allow it to become what it was always meant to be. Because what is arriving in your life is not just a blessing, it is a beginning. Type "I receive" and release the overflow in the comments if you are ready to step into this expansion. Blessing code 1010 is now activated over your influence and impact. There are moments in life when time feels like it stretches endlessly, when days blend together, when nothing seems to move no matter how much you wait or how much you hope. And then there are moments like this, where time no longer feels slow, where everything begins to compress, where what once felt distant suddenly feels immediate. This is not your imagination. This is not coincidence. This is what happens when something that has been prepared for a long time reaches the point where it must now unfold within a specific window. You are in that window now. This is the part most people misunderstand. They believe that once something is written, once something is assigned, it will simply appear whenever it is convenient. But that is not how it works. There are moments of alignment, moments where everything comes together in a precise way, and those moments carry timing that matters. Not in a way that creates pressure, but in a way that requires awareness. Because when the moment arrives, it does not wait indefinitely. This is why there is urgency in the message you are receiving. Not urgency based on fear, but urgency based on precision. The understanding that what is moving toward you is doing so within a specific time frame, within a specific alignment, within a specific sequence that is now active. And when something becomes active, it requires your presence within that activation. You cannot be absent in a moment that requires awareness. Think about everything that has led you here. The delays, the adjustments, the preparation, the shifts you have experienced. None of that was random. It was all leading to a point where everything would align at once. And that alignment is not indefinite. It is not something that stretches endlessly. It is something that reaches a peak, a moment where everything is ready, everything is positioned, everything is moving. That moment is now. This is why you feel the intensity. This is why you feel the urgency. This is why it feels like something is calling your attention in a way that cannot be ignored. Because time, in this moment, is not moving slowly. It is moving with purpose. This does not mean you need to rush. It does not mean you need to force anything. It means you need to be aware. It means you need to be present. It means you need to recognize that this is not a time to drift, not a time to lose focus, not a time to fall back into patterns that disconnect you from what is happening. This is a time to stay aligned. This is a time to stay clear. This is a time to remain fully aware of what is unfolding around you. There is also something else you must understand about timing. When something reaches this stage, it often comes with moments that test your awareness. Small situations that seem unrelated but are actually connected. Decisions that appear simple but carry deeper significance. Interactions that feel ordinary but contain clarity within them. These are the moments where timing reveals itself. You must not overlook them. Because timing does not always announce itself in obvious ways. It shows up in details, in moments, in subtle shifts that require you to be paying attention in order to recognize their importance. This is why Archangel Michael's command was so direct. Stop everything. Pay attention. Because when timing becomes this precise, even small distractions can cause you to miss what is right in front of you. You are not being asked to do something complicated. You are being asked to stay aware. You are being asked to stay present. You are being asked to recognize that this moment carries significance beyond what it appears to be on the surface. And when you do that, everything begins to make sense. The delays you experienced will make sense. The shifts you noticed will make sense. The preparation you went through will make sense. Because you will see how everything was leading to this exact point. This is the final stage before full manifestation. The point where everything is no longer being prepared, but being delivered. The point where everything is no longer being aligned, but being revealed. The point where everything is no longer waiting, but arriving. And your role is simple, but critical. Be aware. Be present. Be ready. Because this moment will not repeat itself in the same way. This alignment will not hold forever without movement. This is the window where everything comes together. And you are standing in it now. Type "I am present in this moment" in the comments if you feel the urgency of this timing. Blessing code 1111 is now activated around your awareness and divine timing. Now everything comes together. Not as a coincidence, not as a possibility, but as a confirmation. Because after everything you have heard, after everything that has been revealed, there is one truth that must settle deeply within you. You were never meant to miss this. Not this moment. Not this alignment. Not what hath been written in your name. What you are experiencing right now is not something that randomly crossed your path. It is something that found you because it was always meant to reach you. You may have felt overlooked in the past. You may have questioned whether things were truly working in your favor. You may have wondered if what you sensed deep within you was ever going to become real. But now you are standing in a moment where those questions no longer hold the same weight. Because the very fact that you are here, fully aware, fully present, fully engaged with what is being revealed, is your confirmation that you are still aligned with what was written. Nothing you went through removed you from this. Nothing you experienced canceled this. Nothing you questioned erased this. Every step, even the uncertain ones, still led you here. This is why this moment carries such clarity. Because it is not asking you to figure something out. It is not asking you to search for something distant. It is showing you what has been present all along, what has been prepared, what has been waiting for the exact moment when you would be able to see it without confusion. And that moment is now. You are no longer in a place of wondering if something is coming. You are in a place of recognizing that it is already here, already in motion, already aligning in ways that will soon become visible in your reality. This is not about hoping anymore. This is about knowing. There is also something deeply important about this confirmation. It is not just meant to reassure you. It is meant to anchor you. Because as everything begins to unfold, there may still be moments that test your awareness. Moments where things do not look exactly the way you expected. Moments where the form of what is arriving challenges your previous understanding. But when you are anchored in this confirmation, you do not lose your clarity in those moments. You remain steady. You remain aligned. You remain aware of what is truly happening beneath the surface. This is what separates those who fully receive from those who hesitate. Not opportunity, not timing, but clarity. The ability to recognize what is real even when it is still unfolding. The ability to trust what has been revealed even when it is still taking form. You have that clarity now. And that means you are ready. Ready not because everything is perfect, but because your awareness has reached the level required to receive what has been written. Ready because you are no longer disconnected from what is happening. Ready because you are no longer treating this like an ordinary moment. This is not ordinary. This is a point of arrival. A point where what has been written, prepared, aligned, and activated is now moving fully into your reality. And you are not on the outside of it. You are within it. You are part of it. You are one that was written for. So do not step back now. Do not question what has already been confirmed. Do not allow doubt to enter a moment that hath been made clear. Stand in it. Receive it. Woo with it. Because what is happening now is not repeating itself in the same way again. This is a unique alignment, a specific moment where everything comes together with precision, and you have been brought into it at exactly the right time. You did not miss it. You did not arrive too late. You are exactly where you need to be. And what has your name on it is no longer distant. It is here. Type "I receive my confirmation" in the comments if you feel this truth fully. Blessing code 1212 is now activated over your life. As this confirmation settles into your spirit and you recognize that this moment was divinely appointed, understand that every seed you sow now becomes a torch of light in someone else's darkness. This is not about supporting a channel. This is about expanding the reach of a message that awakens souls and realigns destinies. The Spirit declares, "Cast your seed upon the waters, and in due time it shall return multiplied," and this is your moment to act in that living promise. I step forward in faith, knowing that my giving becomes a river that carries truth into lives that are still searching for clarity. When you give through the PayPal link in the description or the QR code on your screen, you are opening the heavens over your own life while helping others find their way back to alignment. Your offering becomes oil that fuels transformation. Your obedience becomes a spark that ignites countless breakthroughs. Do not wait for another moment. Step into this now. Sow your seed and watch what heaven releases in response.